Welcome to Starwatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
At the very beginning of 2026, a single list quietly surfaced online. There were no flashing headlines, no dramatic announcements, no official ceremony. Just a set of numbers, published in plain sight. Yet within hours, those numbers ignited intense discussion across social platforms. Not because they were unbelievable, but because they confirmed something many people had sensed, but never fully accepted. In 2025, money in the entertainment industry no longer followed noise. It followed structure, it followed discipline, and most importantly, it followed long-term value. This ranking of the richest figures in the entertainment industry was not simply about who earned the most. It exposed how the rules of success had shifted. Some names appeared exactly where people expected. Others caused visible surprise. But one position, in particular, drew sustained attention. Third place, 300 million yuan. A figure that did not scream for attention, yet spoke with remarkable clarity. Because standing there was Wang Yibo, not as a sudden winner, but as proof that a different path could still lead to the top. And once viewers realized what that path looked like, it became difficult to look away. The 2025 wealth ranking showed that the top 10 figures in the industry each earned no less than 80 million yuan. On paper, that alone sounded extraordinary. But what made the list compelling was not the lower threshold. It was the ceiling. 400 million yuan at the very top. Numbers that felt almost detached from everyday reality. Yet the ranking did not present these figures as fantasy. It framed them as the outcome of choices, positioning, and timing. This was not a celebration of extravagance. It was an audit of influence. At the top of the list stood a familiar name, associated with consistent visibility, large-scale productions, and an unmatched level of public recognition. His income reflected a year in which nearly everything he touched became widely discussed. High-profile dramas, strong audience engagement, and brand partnerships that spanned both premium and everyday markets formed a tightly connected ecosystem. Popularity converted smoothly into commercial return. For many viewers, this confirmed what they already believed. When exposure, loyalty, and demand align perfectly, financial results follow naturally. Just behind him came a figure whose journey told a different story. Her earnings reflected not explosive momentum, but steady evolution. Over recent years, she had moved carefully between major film releases and high-performing series across leading platforms. Each project reinforced her reliability. Brands did not approach her for momentary excitement, but for assurance. Her income was built on predictability, trust, and the quiet confidence that her involvement would bring stability rather than risk. This reinforced a crucial message of the ranking. Longevity can be just as powerful as visibility. Then came third place, Wang Yibo, 300 million yuan. The number itself was impressive, but the discussion surrounding it quickly moved beyond arithmetic. Because unlike many of his peers, his year was not defined by constant appearances. He did not dominate the screen with back-to-back releases. Instead, his presence felt selective, almost restrained. And that restraint became the most intriguing part of the story. Wang Yibo's value in 2025 was not measured by how often he appeared, but by what happened when he did. His brand collaborations were not treated as routine endorsements. They were designed as moments. Carefully staged campaigns, visual storytelling that resembled short films rather than advertisements, and a consistent aesthetic that aligned with exploration, motion, and self-discipline. When products associated with him entered the market, they did not rely solely on fan enthusiasm. They created measurable demand. Items sold out rapidly. Market indicators reacted. Conversations shifted from admiration to analysis. What set his trajectory apart was diversification. Music, performance, fashion, competitive motorsport, and outdoor culture all intersected within a single personal narrative. Each area reinforced the others rather than competing for attention. Instead of spreading his image thin, he allowed different pursuits to deepen it. This created a sense that his career was not accelerating randomly, but expanding deliberately. For audiences, this was compelling. It suggested intention rather than urgency. His income reflected that intention. It was not dependent on a single source or a single trend. It was supported by partnerships that prioritized image alignment, by projects that enhanced credibility, and by a public persona that avoided unnecessary volatility. In an industry often shaped by rapid rises and sudden reversals, this stability felt refreshing. Viewers did not see a figure chasing relevance. They saw one building resilience. Further down the ranking, the contrast became even clearer. Veteran figures continued to hold strong positions, not through frequency, but through accumulated trust. Decades of consistent work had turned their names into symbols of reliability. Their earnings were quieter, but deeply anchored. At the same time, younger artists demonstrated how carefully managed transitions could transform early popularity into lasting influence. Acting credentials, selective endorsements, and disciplined public behavior all contributed to sustained growth. Taken together, the ranking revealed a broader shift within the industry. The era in which attention alone guaranteed wealth was fading. Brands were becoming more discerning. They looked beyond reach and examined conversion, reputation, and alignment with long-term values. Audiences, too, were changing. They responded not only to excitement, but to coherence. They paid attention to how a career unfolded, not just how loudly it announced itself. This was why the 2025 wealth ranking resonated so strongly. It did not flatter illusions. It clarified reality. It showed that success was no longer about being everywhere at once, but about being in the right place, at the right time, for the right reasons. And within that framework, Wang Yibo's third-place position carried meaning far beyond its numerical value. It suggested that restraint could coexist with reach, that focus could generate flexibility, and that modern influence was as much about direction as it was about scale. As 2026 unfolds, these figures will inevitably change. New projects will emerge. Public attention will shift. But the underlying pattern revealed by this ranking is unlikely to disappear. Those who continue to invest in credibility, adaptability, and thoughtful growth will remain competitive long after trends pass. And those who rely solely on short-term visibility may find the ground beneath them less stable than before. For viewers, this list offered more than curiosity. It offered perspective. A reminder that behind every headline figure lies a structure of decisions, discipline, and time. And that, in an industry built on appearance, substance still matters. If you found this analysis insightful and would like to explore more real stories behind the numbers, consider subscribing to Starwatch now. Your support allows us to continue examining the moments, choices, and shifts that shape the entertainment world beyond the surface. Thank you for watching, for listening, and for being part of this conversation. Stay with us as we continue to follow the stories that quietly define the next chapter.